defeat the Palm Beach Garden Gators 38-7 for the regional title. The next step was the sectional title game, and the Falcons were up against the unbeaten Cobras of Fort Lauderdale Boyd Anderson. Terrence Tomlin's 79-yard touchdown run put the Cobras up 7-3 at the half, and put the Falcons in an unusual position of having to come from behind if they were to win the football game. Brian Montgomery provided the offensive spark with this 37-yard touchdown run to give the Falcons the lead. Montgomery would also provide the defensive spark with this touchdown-saving tackle, as the Falcons would hang on to a 9-7 victory over Boyd Anderson, a victory that would push the Falcons into the state semifinals for the second year in a row. The Chiefs of Miami Carol City went through their season undefeated, and in their first step of the playoff ladder, they defeated Miami Springs 8-0. Their second step was the Section 4 championship against the Cobras of South Miami. Like the Falcons, the Chiefs were playing a team called the Cobras, and for the first time all year, they were having to play catch-up football. South Miami had jumped out to an early 12-0 lead, but the Chiefs would tie the game up by the end of the first quarter. But once again, late in the ball game, South Miami had the lead. But the Chiefs would mount a sustained drive that would be capped by some good fortune, as Timothy Isaac would see the ball bounce right back to him, as the Chiefs would win a heart-stopper 19-18. This sets up a rematch of last year's semifinal battle, with the Chiefs of Miami Carol City going up against the Falcons of Dunedin. Last year, Dunedin came in as the big underdogs, as the Chiefs had the size and the muscle. But the Falcons had the quickness and the speed to provide themselves with several great opportunities to put the football game away. The Falcons would come away 17-6 winners, earning themselves their first ever trip to state championship game. Now it's 1987, and once again, it's the Miami Carol City Chiefs and the Dunedin Falcons, with the winner advancing to the state title game. The loser will just read about it in the morning paper.
I saw there was an image behind drinking, and people that drank, that they looked older and sophisticated.
I was 11 when I lost my virginity to a guy who was 17. I was drunk.
Sometimes I'd sleep in the woods. If I didn't sleep in the woods, I slept on the corner. If I didn't sleep on the corner, I slept at someone's house who I didn't even know.
Hey, yo, alcohol is a drug, and you can get hooked on it. And the younger you start, the more damage you can do.
If you want to be somebody, have a family, have a future, just say no.
Say no and say yes to your life.
If you want to stay informed on local sports, you need to watch Sports Scene every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Hi, I'm Mike Moore, the host of the show. We also have sports call-in questions, and we have celebrities on the show, and we certainly do our best at trying to recap the local high school and the area sports action. That's Sports Scene every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Won't you please join us? Memorial Stadium is full and it is noisy, as the fans here at Dunedin High School are anticipating a victory tonight that would propel them once again for the second consecutive year to a state championship game. But there's another team on the other side of the field that has a lot to say about that, so we'll find out in about 2 hours from now exactly who goes to state championship and who stays at home. I'm Mike Moore, welcoming you to another broadcast of Pinellas County High School football, playoff football, the 5A state semifinal battle. This is exactly a rematch of almost a year ago to the day when Dunedin had to travel to Miami Carol City to take on the Chiefs down on their own home turf, and they came away the winners 17-6, as you saw, of course, in our opening program. With me, of course, is someone who's from Miami. We have a three-man broadcast booth tonight. We're certainly glad to welcome Rick Potluck from Channel 17 in Miami. Welcome to the broadcast, first of all, and you're very familiar with these Carol City Chiefs, and you've seen them a lot this year.
We certainly have. In our regular Sunday sports that we do every week, we have seen them. This will be our 6th telecast with the Carol City Chiefs. And the one thing that continues to amaze people about them is the no-star system. They'll operate with 2 quarterbacks. They'll alternate almost on every play. They'll operate with 7 running backs with 4 receivers into the formations, alternating plays. On defense, it's the same way. It's big team, little me. And that's the important thing. But now that the postseason honors are starting to come in, the blue chippers are rising to the top. In Miami, we have 26 5A teams, and for someone to make all-county in the city of Miami, you're in about the upper 75 players of about 2,000 players in Dade County. So as we refer to these all-county players, that should give you an idea of how the performances come from them, and that is also picked by the coaches. Now, for Carroll City to win this game, they would first of all have to win the opening toss, get the football, and do what they do best. A long, sustained drive down the field. They chew up a lot of clock, no turnovers, and take the crowd out of it. If they do like you just saw in the videotaped highlights, where they get the ball and fumble and turn it over and Dunedin scores, it's an entirely different game. All of the players, or the majority of the players that are on this year's team, were on last year's team. They remember what happened December 12, 1986. They're not going to forget the fact that they lost in front of 9,000 at home. They would love to reciprocate tonight.
Let me ask you, you were there last year during the ball game, and Dunedin came in the heavy underdogs, and the Carroll City Chiefs, the big favorites. They were much larger. They're still much larger. Did you think maybe this year they're not going to take anything for granted?
I think perhaps there was a little bit of overconfidence. I really do, because they saw that Dunedin had 6 players that went both ways, and they figured, oh, we've got this made. Not this year. This year they have struggled in certain games, but they have won. And I think that has made them a better team. They're going to have a tremendous advantage on the offensive line to Dunedin's defense. They average 285 across the front. 3 of those kids are juniors. 1 of those juniors is a consensus first-team all-county player. That's Rudy Barber. His father, incidentally, is a former Miami Dolphin player, Rudy Barber, same name, and he also coaches the line for the Chiefs.
The Dunedin Falcons have been facing the big teams, not quite this big, all year long, and they say, well, just another ball game. We'll do what we've done all season long. Joining us, of course, as always, all season long has been Mike Rhodes. And Mike, we've got a chance to see Dunedin. This will be our 5th ball game of the year. And what about that size problem? How are they going to match up?
Well, Dunedin has to do what they've done all season long. They use their speed as a substitute for that strength, the swarming defense, and they've had to not take on the line head on. That is what the Carroll City Chiefs want. Go head on, and they will wear them down if that is what Dunedin is going to do. They're going to have to play a swarming, use their speed and quickness, much like they did last year, to frustrate them and force those big turnovers.
Of course, Rick talks about the Chiefs need to get the football and just go down and score. Pretty much the same case for the Falcons.
Certainly, they will not pass unless they really have to, or a trick play, which we probably won't see. You'll see Bryant Montgomery a lot, over 1,000 yards. Tyrone Muzan, bothered in recent weeks by a sprained ankle. He re-injured it in the Palm Beach Gardens game. And then there's Terrence Shaw, who came in late in the season. He's gained nearly 500 yards. So those will be the guys we'll see. A very conservative offense, but a very effective offense.
Both offenses basically simple in terms that they're going to keep it on the ground a lot. We will see a lot of players involved for the Carroll City Chiefs. They might like to take on Kansas City the way Kansas City is playing right now. Right now, we will take a break. We will come back, of course, with the starting lineups and our opening kickoff, as this is going to decide who gets to go on to the state championship game and who has to watch it at home and read about it in the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You don't have anything if you don't have your health. Every week on Vision Cable Channel 9, various medical experts present informative and insightful lectures on timely healthcare topics affecting our lives. Watch for the Humana Health series for the latest in medical treatments and technology. Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday evenings at 6 on Vision Cable Channel 9.
Welcome back to Dunedin High School, as we were just a few minutes away from getting this football game started. Down in the middle of the field, of course, they're having the coin toss, and we'll send it down right now.
White will be receiving. And this is, gentlemen, let's have a good game, okay? That was good. That was good. You get your Dunedin ball. All right.
Third, of course, at the start of the second half. So Carroll City will get the football first, and that was one of the things that you mentioned, Rick, that Carroll City wanted to get the football first, so they've got that part done.
It's going to be a key now is for them to execute. Last year, remember, they fumbled the kickoff. And later they were down 7-0 before they knew what happened. So this time, I'm sure they're going to go
football, chew a lot of time off the clock. We'll see the 7 running backs, we'll see the 2 quarterbacks, and we'll see a lot of the wishbone from the Carroll City Chiefs.
The Dunedin Falcons will get a chance to put their defense on the field first, and so maybe they can try to exercise some muscle in that way to maybe get some of that momentum back.
Ken Ware is exercising a lot of confidence in his defense, choosing to take that disadvantage right away.
And Rick, a key member of that defense, Dwight Keenan, who had a spectacular game last year, forcing fumbles, quarterback sacks, and he still a major force again this year. Season, a very undersized nose tackle, but just so quick.
He also had an offensive touchdown in that game last year on a fullback dive out of the wishbone.
Hasn't played running back very much this season. They don't really need him.
Weather conditions absolutely perfect, as the weather may be on a little bit of the cool side for the fans, but just perfect for the players. And it is dry, and the wind has certainly died down from last week. We had 25-mile-an-hour gusting winds. Not much of a breeze to speak of tonight, so should be a good football game.
Well, we would like to thank you for setting the weather up for all of us that made the trip to Miami.
We do our best. Rory Marsh, number 89, the junior, will be getting ready to kick it off here for the Falcons. Kicks it straight down the field. And will be taken at the 12-yard line, straight up the middle. This is Isaac. Isaac will get up to about the 24-yard line, so that's exactly where the Chiefs will start. First and 10. Of course, as we mentioned, they're going to rotate a lot of people in and out. They're led by 2 quarterbacks. Ken Ware has got his defense prepared for a lot of shifting, I am sure. In the backfield, of course, for the Warhawks will be number 12. Normally, he's the quarterback. He'll be starting at least on this particular play.
Exactly. Norman Lowe is what we call the quarterback of the play.
We'll mention some of the other names in the backfield and the starting line right after this play. First down and 10 from the 24-yard line. First play from scrimmage. They keep it on the ground, and they're going to maybe get 1 yard. So it'll be a second down and 9 situation. The offensive line for the Chiefs, Lionel Jones at 1 tackle position. Edoris Cromartie is the guard. The center, Roy Muldrow. Rudy Barber, the other guard position, that's the right guard. And Willie Johnson occupies the right tackle position. Harold Barnwell, number 88, will be the tight end. Anthony Wesselhoff, the wide receiver, split wide out to the bottom of the screen. This is Lowe again from the wishbone formation. Still has it. In trouble we got for a loss. A loss of about 4 yards back to the 21-yard line. Good defense that time by the Falcons. Falcons up front, of course, Scott Thomas, Joe Casto operating at the ends. We'll take a look at it again. Lang Taylor at the tackles, and Dwight Keenan, number 36. That was Todd Donahoe, one of the linebackers, making that tackle.
Coming through on the blitz, so effective, these Falcon linebackers, Peyton and Donahoe, very quick and very intelligent ball players.
Brings up a third down and long situation, 3rd and 14.
New quarterback, Stacy McKinney now.
Our first look at McKinney. In motion, Bostic. Not going to get it. So the defense of the Falcons did exactly what Ken Ware was hoping they would do. On their first drive, they stuffed them. And in this particular situation, they lose yardage. It'll bring them a 4th down and 14 situation, and now we'll have to see the kicking game here of the Chiefs.
Interesting set of calls by Coach Walt Frazier of Carroll City, choosing to go with 3 dive plays up the middle. This is the second punter for Carroll City that they've had this year. This is Anthony Wesselhoff.
Back deep is Maxwell and Montgomery. They're just going to let this one bounce at about the 47. Montgomery in there looking at it, but don't get out of the way. And so the Falcons will start from their own 36-yard line. And we'll see if the Falcons can put something together here, as the defense, as they have done all year long, has done the job once again. You don't get to the state semifinals without having a good defense. Both these schools can play defensive football.
And very aggressive, we might add, too. They were stacking that middle, knowing that those 3 plays were coming.
Mike Perdurkle, the junior, and a quarterback, along with Montgomery, Muzan, and of course Shaw is the fullback. This is Shaw straight ahead. He'll battle his way maybe for an extra yard. Good second effort there to the 39. Pick up about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Up front, Elgin Boykin at 1 right tackle position. Steve Ewald is the left tackle. Ewald is the left guard. Paul McCarthy, the junior, the lone junior on the line at center. Joe McLemore, right offensive guard, and Walt Cardocio is the right offensive tackle. Second down, we'll call it 7. They'll pitch it back to Montgomery. He's got Muzan leading the way. It goes nowhere. Good pursuit that time by the Chiefs. The Chiefs really smelled that one out.
Courtney Alston, who's in at one of the defensive end positions, strung the play out and ended up participating in the tackle. Alston, 6'2", 200 senior, one of 2 or 3 seniors on that line. The majority of these Carroll City kids are all juniors. Also in there on the play was Marcus Bembry. He was an honorable mention All-County player.
You know, Coach Walt Frazier has to be excited about these people coming back again next year. No gain on the play, still 3rd and 7. And maybe some confusion there as Pregame gave it to Shaw. Shaw wasn't going anywhere, so on Dunedin's first possession, well, they gained 3 yards, but they're going to have to punt the football away.
Mike, I think that Pregame was thinking of pitching it back to Bryant Montgomery. They exchanged glances back as if that was to be the play. Instead, it's a yard loss, and the Falcons have to punt.
Quentin Bostic back to receive the punt. Rory Marsh will do the kicking, standing on his own 25. Very close to being blocked. Bostic will take it in the crowd. He's going to trip, and the football is loose. And the Falcons have it. Turnovers can be so big in a football game like this, and there's our first one. And that gives the Falcons, we'll look at it again, the football on the 34-yard line.
And that's exactly what Carroll City did not want to have happen. Tom Hepburn, normally pretty sure-handed back there, just couldn't hold on.
He seemed really indecisive, as if he was thinking about calling for a fair catch. Instead, drops the ball.
Credit that one on the defense, as again, both offenses haven't got anything going. The defense has done the job. This is Montgomery. Montgomery looking for some running room. He'll get across the 30 to the 29. Brian Montgomery with a pickup of 5 yards on first down. The rest of the defense for the Chiefs, of course, the linebackers, 50, Bembry, and number 98, Otis Robinson. The secondary, Afonso Spear and Leon Harris at the corners. And Wiley and Scott are the safeties. 2nd and 5. 6:57 to play, first quarter. We are scoreless. Falcons after the turnover inside Chief territory from the 29. Luzon's first carry, and maybe he'll get a yard or 2 at best.
Good play that time by the Carroll City defense, particularly the middle guard, 76 Cedric Bembry, fought off the block of McCarthy and Ewald and stood up his man and made the tackle. Here's a kid, 6'1", 260, only a junior and a first-team All-County player for Miami.
A lot of juniors on that defense for the Chiefs, as opposed to only 1 junior on the defense for Dunedin. So next year's defense for the Falcons will look dramatically different. 3rd down and 4. They'll pitch it back to Muzan. Muzan getting some blocking, cuts it back upfield, but he is going to be met. Nice tackle there that's going to keep him shy of the first down. It's going to be maybe 4th and about a yard and a half. That may have been Cedric Bembry again who got in there to make the tackle.
Bembry, another one of those good players that's a junior. There are 7 on the defense at one time or another, and the defense also features 7 All-County players. A very unheralded defense.
Of course, Bembry with a key fumble recovery last week that really helped to turn that game around.
They're going to go for it on 4th down, 4th and a short 3. They'll give it to Montgomery. Montgomery's going to get dragged down from behind that time.
That was Jeremy Faulkner, another junior who's also a pretty good basketball player, and at 6'3", 240, he's quite an enforcer on the court, and you saw how vicious he is on the football field.
This play really not much of a chance at all. Montgomery, no blocking, and he's thrown down.
So the Chiefs will survive the scare in terms of turning over the football in their own half of the field. Last week, this is the same situation as we saw the Cobras give the Falcons many, many opportunities with turnovers deep in their own half of the field. But the Falcons were only able to get 3 points out of those turnovers, and they had to settle for 3 points at the end of the first half. I believe a timeout has been called. This may be, I thought maybe it might have been an official's timeout, but I believe the Chiefs have called this timeout.
Frazier coming out onto the field right now to talk to the offense, and I noticed that Stacy McKinney will be the quarterback of the play here. The first series that started this out, very unusual for Carroll City in that they went with Norman Lowe for 3 straight plays, and that I believe, is also the second time this year that Norman Lowe has started, but he certainly earned that start because last week he engineered the drive that got him the tying touchdown, then kicked the winning extra point to win the game as well. So a very deserved start for Norman Lowe for the Carroll City Chiefs.
5 minutes, 17 seconds to play here in the first half. Coach Ken Weir, in just his second year as a head coach, and what a 2 years it has been. In his first year, he takes his team to the state championships. They end up losing right here on this field, 14-10 to the Lakeland Dreadnoughts. It's interesting, we were talking about this beforehand, as Ken Weir in his 2 years as a head coach has never lost on the road. All 3 losses he's experienced have all been here at Dunedin Falcons Stadium. They beat these Chiefs last year on the road. He's hoping that that's not a trend that's going to continue. 1st and 10 now. From the 26, some movement. McKinney still keeps it. He'll spin around the right side and maybe pick up a couple of yards. It looked like he wanted to pitch it back, but he decided better on that.
I don't think the trail man, Al Henson, on that play had moved far enough for McKinney to give the dish off, so he figured he would better eat it, and he still picked up a couple of yards out to the 29-yard line.
Al Henson, just one of possible 7 players who will be in the backfield, rotating in and out all night long for these Chiefs. When the leading ball carrier has less than 500 yards, you know they're doing a lot of substituting. 2nd and 8, he picked up 2. McKinney again. He'll keep it himself. Still gets loose on his feet, maybe up to the 34-yard line.
Mike, don't blink.
There.
Don't blink, Mike. That was Norman Lowe. They change extremely quick, and they are going to change right now. And Lowe getting the lion's share here in the first quarter, but a good play that time is he just escaped from one man and picked up an extra yard out to the 34-yard line is where it's marked.
That's where we brought Rick up from Miami. We knew we were going to have trouble with these rotating quarterbacks. McKinney in there now. He's number 16. Lowe is number 12. 3rd down and 4. McKinney will give it to keep it. Nope. Gives it that time to number 20, Tim Isaac, and the defense holds. Isaac maybe picked up a yard. Tim Isaac, a couple yards short, it'll be a 4th down and long situation here, so they'll have to punt the football away. Wesselhoff will be doing the kicking, of course, once again for the Chiefs, and the lone deep man for the Falcons is number 1, Brian Montgomery.
Carroll City may have noticed something on the rushing. They put 2 guys over to one side, and that's where the rush came from.
Wesselhoff with a good kick. Backs Montgomery up to the 27. Makes a couple of good moves, gets up to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line.
Wallace Toomer and one of the Bembry brothers, Marcus Bembry, playing special teams down to make the tackle. That's one of the things that Coach Walt Frazier and the Chiefs strive upon is the excellent play on special teams. They have not given up a touchdown this year.
Of course, Rick, there was a touchdown that happened against them last week that fortunately did not count when Patrick had the touchdown catch, and that really turning point in that game.
It certainly was. An 85-yard punt fake returned because of illegal motion.
Perdurkle will keep it himself. How many times do you see this? Perdurkle, he'll get up very close to what could be a 1st down.
Is this something like a local holiday here when Perdurkle keeps the football?
It doesn't happen very often, and sometimes when it does, you wonder it wasn't by design.
This time, no one accounted for the quarterback. No one was there. They all went towards the running backs, as you'd expect. Perdurkle very rarely carries the ball. That time, picked up the 1st down.
He got 10 yards. He was brought down by Ed Scott, one of the safeties, from the 46-yard line. This time, we'll give it to a more traditional manner. Mouzon runs into his own man. Still works it out. It's going to pick up a 13 yards himself. Driven out of bounds over very close to the 1st down marker. That would be the 44-yard line.
Where they're spotting the ball right now, he appears to be about a yard shy of it. Nice move by Mouzon here. Watch him stutter step, and then Faulkner's got a lunge to make the tackle.
Looked like Shaw made a good play, forcing it. Mouzon bounces outside.
Pickup of 9, as you can see the misdirection. He actually got some help, I think, by running into the back of Montgomery. 2nd down and 1. This is Shaw, and Shaw is going to be tripped up at the line of scrimmage, but he did pick up some yardage. It will be close. No one really is expecting this one to be a high-scoring affair. When you have two teams that run the football anyway and are so good defensively, you're looking for whoever's defense can control the football and maybe who makes the fewest amount of mistakes.
We thought that last week when Carroll City and South Miami played, both teams with very good defenses. We had 24 points in the first quarter.
Third down and maybe a foot. And Shaw did not pick up the necessary yardage. This is Montgomery. Look at him bust it. Still on his feet. Down inside the 25-yard line to the 23.
21 yards and a first down there. And a beautiful pickup here. Watch him move. And a touchdown saving tackle by Delfoncio Spear.
Nice blocking left side of the line.
Montgomery, who was averaging over 5 yards a carry in the regular season, his average has been continuing to grow through the two playoff games.
Clock becoming a factor here in the quarter, 1:34 and counting.
From the Chief 23. Federico, again, his second carry. He'll get buried that time by number 3, Leon Harris, but not before he got inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line, so pick up of about 7.
This may be a new wrinkle in the game plan for Dunedin this week. No one expecting Perdurkle to run, so I start some running plays with Perdurkle.
And Perdurkle paid for that run as Leon Harris, one of the all-county players with a good hard stick that time. But when you're knocking off 21 and 7 yards a carry, your defense is going to be, and your tackles are going to be made by your safeties.
Perdurkle has been keeping a relatively clean uniform this year, and he would maybe, those kind of hits, like to keep it that way. He's on up the middle.
Great hole that side of the line. No, not even touched. And Falcons, big emotional lift to score first in this game.
Muzan gained 13 yards on that touchdown run. Last week he had a key fumble, and he only had 17 yards in the entire game. So a big boost for him. Now the point after, and it will be good. So with 48 seconds remaining in this first quarter of play in our 5A semifinal battle, a rematch of the Chiefs and the Falcons. The Falcons have gotten on the scoreboard first. We'll break away. We're coming right back. I'm Mike Moore, host of Sports Scene. While we have some time, I'd like to kind of explain our surroundings here, if you don't mind. You notice the lockers we have behind us? These lockers actually came from Jack Russell Stadium. This is actually a Phillies uniform. The blackboard here, as we have diagram our plays, and the AstroTurf simulations there. We also have our phone there.
Hello.
How you doing? Great. One of my fans. That's and also the coffee cup standard with every single show. That's Sports Scene every Monday night, live at 7. Won't you please join us? Welcome back. It's 7-0 in favor of Dunedin. A scoring drive of 65 yards in 6 plays, and it only took them just about a second under 2.5 minutes. And again, as I mentioned, Kyron Muzan was certainly looking for a big game tonight after coming off his least productive game last week, and that's got to be a big boost for him. Marsh ready to kick off once again. 48 seconds remaining, first quarter. This will be to Isaac at the 11. He'll get up to the 20. Still on his feet across the 25 to the 27-yard line, so that's where the Chiefs will start once again. Falcons last year, as I mentioned, they came into that football game the heavy underdogs. With each win, they were gaining confidence. Of course, this year, they are really, of course, believing in themselves. That man right there has done a major factor in getting them to believe in themselves. And they get on the scoreboard first. McKinney, the quarterback. Stutter step count there. He'll keep it himself. They have Bostic in the backfield, but there's no way he's going to dish it off with Scott Thomas all over him. Pick up a 2, it'll be 2nd and 8.
Scott Thomas read that one out perfectly. Assignment was the quarterback, and he got to McKinney before McKinney could hit that open spot.
That's going to do it here for our first quarter of action, as the Falcons have gotten on the scoreboard first. We're coming back with our second quarter of action. Dunedin leads it 7-0. I'm Mike Moore. You see me here every Monday night on Sports Scene, but there are a lot of people behind the scenes that do a lot of work to help us get this show on the air. And they're kind of like our Sports Scene family. Of course, our director, Denise Tennant, she's like the Sergeant Carter of the show. Our Gomer Polinadio, Mike Rhodes, and Jenny Noble, who runs our videotape week in and week out. Kind of like a family to me. So please join me here on Monday nights live at 7 o'clock for the Sports Scene family. Welcome back to Dunedin Memorial Stadium as Falcons with the early 7-0 lead. Take a look at several of the first half stats. Of course, again, no passing yardage here for either team. It's been a good, clean football game in terms of penalties in the first half. Muzan with that 13-yard touchdown run makes a difference. No first downs yet for the Chiefs. 4 for, of course, the Falcons. And, of course, 72 yards for Dunedin on the ground. Very small total there so far for the Chiefs. 2nd down and 8. This is Bostic. Bostic working his way around that left end. Going to be very close to that first down. Some good 2nd and 3rd efforts there. Driven out of bounds by about half the Dunedin defense.
Looks like it's going to be just shy of the first down.
Bostic, the leading ball carrier, with just under 500 yards for the season, but a good average. The numbers are not going to be impressive in terms of the totals when you have an backfield that has this much substituting. It's sometimes the average yards per carry that you need to look at. 3rd and, well, they're going to call it 2 yards ago. It wasn't as close as we thought. Whistles on the play. Play is blown dead, so we'll have to sort this one out. This is our first flag. Procedure is going to be called against the Chiefs. The indication, of course, from our referee.
One of the offensive linemen, I believe it was a left guard for Carroll City, moved about a half count early. That caused the entire play to crumble. This is not panic time for Carroll City. Last week they were down 12-0 before their comeback started.
Well, that's one of the things that maybe they were able to learn in last week's game. After you were telling us, we read that they had never trailed in a football game this year, and then finally in a big game, they trailed early and were able to come back. That's got to help. 3rd down and 8. Now pitch it back. This time is Isaac. Isaac trying to spree it out. He's going to get met there by Dodson and Boykin. Initially met by number 38, Peyton, the linebacker. And he's maybe not even going to pick up any yardage. So it'll be a 4th down and 8 situation. And once again, they'll have to punt the football away.
We talked a bit about Aaron Peyton. Perhaps doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Plays this one out down the line. Fights off the block of Bostic. And he is right there.
Carroll City, 3 possessions, 3 punts. Not a way to start.
Still looking for that first down. So we'll bounce on the 40 and come back a little bit. Finally down there by Delfoncio Spear on the 43-yard line. Not a real good kick that time. And it bounces back once again. The Dunedin faithful here supporting their defense, as so far they've gotten the job done.
The defense for Dunedin has done a remarkable job using their speed well to counteract the Carroll City offense and stringing out the Y plays, 2, 3, sometimes 4 players, gang tackling, and that's been the key to their success so far.
We have heard so much about the lack of size or how big some of these other teams have been, and I think that just kind of makes the Falcons even more determined as kind of like the little guys, just to prove that they can get the job done. Perdurkle drops it. He just picks it right back up, and he'll just fall on it. So they'll lose a yard, and they'll lose a potential play. It'll be 2nd at about 11.
So we take a look at this play again. Several years ago, last time the Falcons went to the state playoffs before last year, they were known as a really big team who would really mow you down on the field, but the different type of athlete, the speedier, quicker type of athlete they've had here at Dunedin, and you can't argue with the results.
2nd down. This is Shaw. Perdurkle still keeps it himself, actually. And he gets nailed that time by Leon Harris again. That is the 3rd time we have seen Perdurkle keep it, and you can almost start adding them up. Those are his matching totals for the season. I bring up a 3rd and 6 situation.
I have him unofficially 3 carries for 15 yards. Good look at that Carroll City Chiefs defense right in the foreground shot there. Number 97, Courtney Alston, 6'2", 200-pound senior. Alston, one of the unsung heroes on defense, doesn't start but gets a lot of playing time.
3rd down and 6. Falcons with the football on their own 46. Back to Muzan. Muzan is met at the line of scrimmage that time by number 76, Bumbry, and also number 5 that time, Ed Scott, coming up from his safety position to meet him on the line of scrimmage.
Scott, one of the gambling safeties, they're not afraid to play maybe 3, 4, 5 yards off the line of scrimmage because they know they're fast enough to go back in pass coverage.
Falcons will have to punt the football away. Moody back deep to receive the punt. It skips up there, and that's not going to result in a good kick for Dunedin. But let's see if it takes a good roll. And the Falcons will just take a look at it now. Down and on the 31-yard line. 9:01 to play in this first half. The Falcons lead at 7-0. Chiefs are looking for their first down of the night. So far on offense, they have not been able to move the football. They did have their last opportunity, got close, but an illegal procedure penalty moved them back, and that cost them possibly a good opportunity.
Effectively for Carroll City, it's been 3 and out all 3 times. And McKinney is your quarterback of the play.
On the ground, of course, McKinney faking the bootleg and straight ahead, maybe a yard. And that Dunedin defensive line, again, doing the job against a much larger and heavier and obviously stronger offensive line of the Chiefs. Last year, Dunedin, when they went down to play these Chiefs, they went down the night before, or the day before, spent the night down there, relaxed, chose to do it that way. This year, the Chiefs, I believe, came up today.
Yes, as a matter of fact, they pulled into the stadium about an hour before game time.
This is Lowe, passing. Boy, what a hit that time as, are they going to say it was a catch? Dotson has it on the fumble, and he's going to get up to the 49-yard line. Jeff Boykins put the hit on the wide receiver. I did not catch his number, but I remember they said he caught it and dropped it.
That was number 80, Condon Melvin, and that's pretty questionable in my mind. It did not look as if he had enough time of possession.
Very difficult to tell from that angle.
I have to agree with you, Rick. It doesn't seem like that could be counted as a reception. He had just barely gathered it in when they made the hit.
That's why my initial reaction was to look at the guy who made the hit, because I thought the play was over. He never caught the football, but evidently the officials thought otherwise. And the Falcons have yet another turnover here, and they'll start on their own 49. This is Montgomery. Montgomery left there by Cedric Bembry. 6'1", 260. Montgomery about 5'9", and 160. Little bit of difference there in the weight.
Just a little. Well, since it's going that way, that'll be a completed pass for Lowe for 14 yards, and the fumble recovery and return yard is going to Muzan.
So that'll go down as the second fumble against the Chiefs here in this first half. 6:58 and counting. It'll be 2nd and 10 again from the Falcons' own 49-yard line. Fort Urkel with, of course, the 3 men in the backfield. They're going to get it across the 50 down to the 45. Well, on that 2nd down, as they pick up 7, as Brian Montgomery squeezes through that big line for a pickup of 7.
Montgomery has some deceptive speed, and he is gaining speed on about his 2nd step, too. And again, the safety's making the tackle. That time, Ed Scott having to make it.
3rd down and essentially 4, a short 4, a long 3, whatever you want to call it. Muzan, as he really didn't have a chance on that play. He was stacked up at the line, maybe a yard, so it'll be a 4th down and 3 situation. And they're going to send Rory Marsh in. Football here on the Chief 43-yard line, down to 6 minutes to play. I'm sure fake has to be on the mind of the Chiefs defense.
Has Dunedin run a fake this year?
Not what we have seen them. And they won't run one here. They're going to let this one go. It's going to roll into the end zone. So it's going to be a touchback, and they'll start from their own 20-yard line. That time, Dwight Keenan, number 36, was racing down there. He was going to try to get that one and down it if he could inside the 5-yard line, but he just kept flipping away from him. So Chiefs will start once again deep in their own goal territory and still in search of their first down. Their first down. 2 turnovers so far for the Chiefs that have not resulted in even a first down for the Falcons. So the turnovers have not hurt in that standpoint. This is Lowe in at quarterback, the quarterback of the play, as they say. And they'll just go straight ahead this time, and I believe this is 20 Isaac. Make that number 33 Boston.
Very close to being movement in that line, their offense or defense. Something to remember with the Falcon defense playing so well. We talk about the fatigue factor of a bigger team grinding it out.
Early on, Bostic's been the most effective carrier for Carroll City, 2 carries with 11 yards.
He picked up 5 there on first down. It's 2nd and 5. McKinney has the football himself, right up the middle. Finally going to be brought down, but not before he gets into Falcon territory. That looked like it may have been a broken play. Either way, it results in a big gain.
Not just strictly designed play. McKinney goes 27 yards right over the block by Eudorus Cromartie. Off the belly, faked by Pollock, and the guy that has to make the tackle again is the safety Boykins, and it's another touchdown-saving tackle.
There's the first down for the Chiefs, and now they will start, of course, from the Falcon 47-yard line. Nice 27-yard pickup that time on McKinney. This is Lowe. He loses it. And the early indication, of course, is that the Chiefs are going to hang on.
We can look at that play again and see this. Cromartie was offsides, but they didn't make the call.
The Chiefs are going to regain possession, and they're going to even gain a yard here.
And I think somehow Norman Lowe buried himself in that pile and came up with the football.
Gain of 1 on the fumble recovery. It's 2nd and 9. McKinney trying to pass it.
Barnwell.
Harold Barnwell has it, driven out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. So the Chiefs, for the second time, showing this pass. That's the second time they had a completion. This time the receiver hangs on to it.
See, play action, that'll work. Continue to run, it'll make the pass so much more effective. And first down, Chiefs.
I think from this point out, you're going to see Carroll City kind of vary the offense a little bit. Not as many passes as you might expect, but just enough to keep the Dunedin defense honest.
Well, the ground game was literally going nowhere. 3:53 to play first half. Lowe gives it to the up man, and they're going to gain maybe a yard or 2 here. That has been maybe one of the points that the Falcons have worried about the most in terms of their defense. They have an excellent defense, but people have said that their secondary could be prone to maybe possibly picking apart. And they have not seen a lot of teams here lately that even throw the football.
Last team that passed with any efficiency was Seminole, but you have to remember Dunedin got off to a really big lead, and Warhawks had to pass to try to catch up, so that may be a bit deceiving.
2nd down and 10. No gain on the play. Isaac will go in motion away from you. McKinney still has the football. Gets knocked around a few times. He's going to get dragged down.
Good pursuit that time for Dunedin by Todd Donahue, as he fought off one man and just came over the top to make the play.
This McKinley is a very slippery runner, though. You want to make sure they hold on to that jersey.
McKinney, a lot of motion for no gain.
That's right.
The Falcons score in their very first playoff game faced a team with a quarterback similar to Countryside's Kevin McCarthon. That was the Palm Beach Gators, but they handled them rather easily. Now Lowe will pass it, dump it off, and get it out of the hands that time as Dotson was right there to make the hit, and Isaac could not hang on. If he hangs on, that's another first down inside the 20.
There were 2 Carroll City players within the same 5 or 6 yard area that time. Watch Lowe try and go for Isaac and threw into double coverage that time. If Isaac makes it, it's a great play, but if it bounces off his hands like it did, it's volleyball time. And Ken Weir there a little bit not too happy with something on the sidelines.
Dotson timed his hit perfectly. He had to make that hit right there or else it would have been a catch.
Lowe, the southpaw, didn't really drill it in there either. That helped the defense get prepared. Now McKinney on 4th and 10 from the 29-yard line will drop back and pass. Now he steps up. He'll keep it. He'll gain a few yards, but not for the first down, and so the Chiefs will have to turn it over. You can see here McKinney had no one to throw it to, and the linebacker Payton comes up and eventually puts him away, and so the defense bends, but they do not break.
You talked about the perhaps weakness of the coverage of the Falcons right there. Excellent pass coverage, and it forced McKinley to run shy of the first down.
McGurkle will give it to Montgomery. Montgomery going to be swallowed up. I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe he lost a yard. We'll see where they spot it. We always, when we do our games here at Dunedin, are sitting immediately to the left of the visiting coaching staff, and usually they have 1 or 2 of their coaches here, but
not
tonight, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have a fleet of assistant coaches up here, 6 of them. Big football game. The rematch from last year. They're going to give Montgomery a half a yard, so it'll be second. We'll still call it 9. Montgomery again, trying to cut it back across the middle. Maybe again another half a yard or a yard at best. It'll be a 3rd down and long situation.
Unofficially, we have Montgomery 7 carries for 35 yards, and the rushing coming tough, except for the 1 long run he's had.
Clock ticking away at 1:04 here to play in the first half. 3rd down and a 7 situation. Chiefs would like to hold him here, then possibly use one of their 2 timeouts remaining and try to get the football back and do something before the first half expires. A little misdirection here. This is Montgomery. He will pick up a few, but he's not going to be anywhere near the first down. Clock still ticking, and I think there's the timeout called by the Chiefs with 43 seconds to play here in the first half.
In this situation, if they get a good return, we're liable to see Norman Lowe come in at quarterback and do some throwing.
Is he more of their passing quarterback?
Well, they both have equal ability, and just for some reason of late, Norman Lowe has had the hot hand throwing the football. Last week coming up with 2 fourth-quarter key completions that got them their tying score and kicking the winning extra point.
Because we obviously saw both quarterbacks on that drive passing.
Right,
so.
Neither are afraid to throw the ball, but for some reason now Lowe just seems to have the hot hand, so maybe he'll do the passing here. But if McKinney catches fire, don't expect to see Walt Frazier stay with one or the other. He'll go with both. He's not afraid to do it. He's done it all year long, and it's won in 12 games in a row.
There's been a lot of criticism of the 2-quarterback system. A lot of people think it doesn't work, but you can't argue with the results this year.
You don't argue with 12-0. That's what it comes down to.
Well, someone stupid might, but Rory Marsh, they're going to fake it. This is Tyrone Muzan. He's got the first down and more up to the 48-yard line. Rick, you asked me about the fake punt. We just saw one right there. They snapped it to the up man. Muzan rushed it across for a first down. Again, that shows the confidence they have in their defense as well if they don't make it.
And Carroll City saw the same thing last week. What a great fake by Rory Marsh, the punter, to set the entire play up.
Out here in practice one afternoon, the players were, of course, kidding Rory Marsh about the trouble he was having with the field goals and extra points last year with all the wind last week. I'm sure they'll have to quit. They'll be kidding him now about his Oscar Award nomination on that one. That was a good one.
Muzan with a good move to get to the inside, too. Carroll City not expecting the fake, and 2nd week in a row they've had it run against them. Of course, last week it was a pass. This week it was the run.
Clock is stopped at 37 seconds. The football on the Falcon 48-yard line. If for no other reason, the Falcons now can assure themselves of running out the clock and keeping the scoreboard right at 7-0 in their favor. They are a team that can score quickly, and the fact that they have Brian Montgomery, he can break one from any part in the field, but other than that, they're not going to drive down in 37 seconds from 53 yards away. Let's just see if they'll just fall on it and try to just run the clock out here. I imagine that may be what they're going to do. They'll pitch it back to Montgomery. Montgomery will get up near midfield, and the clock will continue to roll. Two teams that don't pass the football a lot, Dunedin very rarely. It's going to be what you call quick halves here.
Falcons content just to run out the clock and go to the locker room with a 7-0 lead.
Mike Moore and Mike Rhodes with you, of course, here, as always, here for Pinellas County High School football, along with Rick Potlock from WLRN. Let me make sure I get it correct. As you can see, the time has expired here in the first half. It's been a defensive struggle. Early on here, the Falcons, they lead at 7-0 thanks to a 13-yard touchdown run from Tyrone Muzan.
And the best part about this for Dunedin is that coming into the second half, they'll get the football again, so they'll be able to retain some momentum.
That makes that decision early on to defer into the second half look at least important here at this point. We'll have to wait and see. Ken Weir will talk to his troops. This time last week, they were down 7-3. They came back out, got the offense they needed to go ahead and held them. Now they're on top 7-0. I'm sure Walt Frazier will be doing a little chewing on his players' ears as well. We're going to have an exciting second half of football to decide who goes to state playoffs and who does not. We'll take a break, come back with some of the halftime festivities, and a look at some of the first half numbers right after this.
You don't have anything if you don't have your health. Every week on Vision Cable Channel 9, various medical experts present informative and insightful lectures on timely healthcare topics affecting our lives. Watch for the Humana Health series for the latest in medical treatments and technology. Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday evenings at 6 on Vision Cable Channel 9.
Welcome back to Dunedin Memorial Stadium. It is halftime. The Falcons lead at 7-0, and right now we're going to take you down on the field, enjoy some of the music and pageantry from the Carroll City Marching Band. halftime. As I mentioned, the Falcons leading the Chiefs 7-0. You were enjoying the music of the Carroll City Chiefs marching band. Right now we'll break away, come back with some of the music from the Dunedin Falcons marching band right after this. Please stay with us. Hi, I'm Mike Moore.
And I'm Elaine Lucadano. Join us here live every Wednesday night, where during this holiday season we'll bring you the upcoming holiday events.
That's right, we'll tell you about some of those diet tips and some places you may want to go here during the Christmas season. That's every Wednesday night, Vision Cable, Channel 9, Local Look. Welcome back once again to Dunedin High School, where the Falcons, as we've told you, are leading at 7-0 over the Carroll City Chiefs. The Dunedin Highlander Marching Band working their way on the field. While they get there, let me read this announcement from the Florida Activities Association. This regional playoff football game is sponsored by the Florida High School Activities Association. This association is presently composed of 515 high schools that have voluntarily united themselves for the purpose of supervising and directing interscholastic contests. The Interscholastic Activities Program is designed to serve both participants and spectators. Students learn from travel and from other young people of similar age and experience, and from visiting other schools. Interschool activities in all cases should be planned with emphasis on educational values. The opportunities to develop physically, morally, and socially are all added desirable bonuses. As a result of this program, an estimated 275,000 junior and senior high school students annually benefit directly or indirectly from their school's membership in the Florida High School Activities Association. I'm going to have to take a breather. Right now, while I do that, we'll listen to the music of the Dunedin Highlander Marching Band. want to stay informed on local sports, you need to watch Sports Scene every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Hi, I'm Mike Moore, the host of the show. We also have sports call-in questions, and we have celebrities on the show, and we certainly do our best at trying to recap the local high school and the area sports action. That's Sports Scene every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Won't you please join us? Back at Dunedin High School, where we're just getting ready for the start of the second half with the Falcons leading at 7-0. We'll have a chance to take a look at some of the numbers in the first half. You can see some very close numbers, of course, in the first down department, but in the rushing yardage, Dunedin almost double the total of what the Chiefs have. Of course, passing, we expect the 0 there in the Dunedin category. The thing that's maybe been surprising has been the 2 turnovers for the Chiefs, but they haven't really resulted in any damage, so to speak.
Taking a look at some of the individual stats first in the rushing category, Carroll City, McKinney's been their most effective one, 5 for 34, and Bostic 2 for 11. Montgomery, the leading ball carrier for Dunedin, 9 for 41, and Mouzon 7 for 39. In the passing department, obviously the big 0 for Dunedin. McKinney 1 for 1, 18 yards. Lowe 1 for 2 for 14 yards. And receiving, again the big 0 for Dunedin. Barnwell 1 for 18, and Melvin 1 for 14. And the only score in the game comes with 48 seconds left in the first quarter. Tyrone Mouzon on a 16-yard run. It caps a 6-play, 65-yard drive, and Rory Marsh adds the extra point. And I would love to have been a fly on the wall in the Carroll City locker room at halftime. I'm sure sparks were flying, and we'll just see how fired up they come out in the second half. I'm sure Walt Frazier told his team, remember what happened last year.
Remember the fact also, it's a 5-hour drive. You can see Coach Walt Frazier. He's the man right there in the middle of the screen. And if you don't know who he is, this Pinellas County people, he's the one wearing the engineer's cap. That'll be a great way to locate Frazier, Coach Frazier.
He and the principal of Carroll City, Carnell White, that's been a tradition for about the last 5 years, the two of them wearing the engineer's conductor's caps.
As you can see, the Chiefs will be kicking off. So the Falcons, who lead at 7-0, will get their hands on the football first here in the second half. So that'll put the Chiefs defense to the test. Dodson will field it at the 15. Trying to follow the wedge. He'll just go straight ahead, and he's met finally at the 27-yard line. Tackled that time by Albert Cox. So from the 27 is where the Falcons will start. And they'll see what sort of offense they can generate.
So far in the first half, Falcons pretty unsuccessful, and they've tried to go wide. I think we'll see maybe more dives up in the middle by Terrence Shaw. Towards the end of that first half, the Chiefs defense was really stopping the Falcons running game.
They like to go to Shaw sometimes, I think, to break open the big play possibility of course, Mouzon and Montgomery. And this is Shaw. Shaw will just try to squeeze his way straight ahead, wrapping both hands around the football. He'll pick up maybe a couple. It'll be second down. Once again, we'd like to remind you, if we didn't get a chance to mention our officials for tonight's ball game. Our referee, of course, is Tom Clark. Our umpire is Jim Ward. The lineman's George Summers. Line judge is Al Bottoms. Our back judge, George Saab. And operating the timer in the booth is Tom Lindeman. Second down and 8. And it's Shaw once again. Shaw this time is going to find an opening. And he's going to be very close to the first down.
If they mark it to where the ball ended up, he will have the first down by a good half yard. If they move it back to where his knee touched, he will not have the first down.
Well, it looks like they're going to mark it
where the knee was.
Where the knee was, so it's going to be maybe a foot shy.
This is what we saw last week. Terrence Shaw getting the ball more in the second half, and he broke off a couple good gains against the Cobras.
Once again, it was the safety, Ed Scott, who had to make the tackle that time. It's going to be close enough to warrant a measurement. So we shall wait and see. Either way, if they don't get it, it'll be third down. It's not a punting situation.
Just
going to be shy. Not the length of the football, so third down and short. So far, the first 2 plays we have seen Shaw. In Weir getting ready to send them the plays, and he always sends them in, of course, with his two wide receivers, Harvey Maxwell, number 2, who is getting ready to bring in the next play, and then, of course, number 85, Marvin Muzan. Here's Maxwell here with this one, actually.
For Miami viewers of this game, Muzan, Melvin and Marvin and Tyrone are not brothers. Uncle and nephews. Tyrone being the uncle.
And the biggest.
And the biggest.
It's going to be very close. I don't know if they got it or not. As they tried again with Shaw. That time running a little bit off of the left side. He may have even... Well, let's see where they spot it.
Well, where they're spotting it now, it looks like it's first down. Now they're going to bring him out one more time.
You may have been able to hear some of the boos from the fans here. They weren't real thrilled with the spot. And we'll...
You may not have it
again. By about 2 inches. So I'm sure the Falcons are very pleased with the spot. So they get their first down of the second half here on their first possession. 85 Muzan bringing the play into Perdurkle.
Took a look at Muzan. That's about the most action these wide receivers get of the Dunedin Falcons is sending in plays.
They run that 40-yard sprint great.
They'll pitch it back to Tyrone Muzan, the uncle of Marvin, who brought the play in, as Rick mentioned. He'll get across the 40 to the 41.
Good play by Ed Scott. Strong safety came up and was in the backfield here and gets an arm around Muzan and brings him down.
Scott has been busy in making some tackles tonight. Give Tyrone 3 yards on the play. It's second down and 7. Perdurkle still has it himself. He's going to get up maybe to the 44-yard line. That time he really did a good job of either faking it to Shaw or he put it right in his gut and yanked it out of there again. That's about as close as you'll see as a fake to someone. That was right in there.
That continues to be an effective play. Perdurkle with the fake and picking up yardage, keeping that Chief defense honest.
Perdurkle is so highly thought of as a runner up here in Dunedin. He's not even listed in the statistics we got.
They've got everybody else who has carried the football, including Drew Taylor, who was one of the defensive linemen. He carried one time 1 yard for a touchdown. This is Shaw. He breaks it across in the midfield, still on his feet. Shaw down to the 38-yard line. Just kept bouncing off bodies. They weren't bringing him down. Not some real good tackling there.
Shaw running like a man possessed.
A lot of arm tackling, and it takes Jeremy Faulkner, one of the defensive ends or outside linebackers in this 50 defense, to come all the way back and make the play 18 yards later.
Certainly the longest gainer in the game so far for Shaw. Down on the 38-yard line, they keep the drive alive. This is Montgomery. Montgomery cuts it back upfield. He got a block. And he'll pick up 7 yards. Down to about the 31-yard line.
Boy, the Falcons come out here and they want to establish that ground game, and they're doing it. Nice block, shutting off the defensive end.
And again, utilizing their speed on the offensive line, pulling the guards and tackles, and with the quickness, they're able to counteract the size of Carroll City. They've done a good job all night long.
Credit Montgomery for 8 yards, as we have a flag now. Let's wait and see. Tom Clark, the referee, the man in the white cap. Uncalled procedure against the Falcons. And you can see Ken Ware's going, tell me where, tell me where.
That's only the second penalty in the entire game. We're 7:50 left here in the third quarter.
That's a sign of a well-coached teams.
Both of them have been procedure penalties against each other. So instead of a 2nd and 2, it's now going to be 2nd and 7. That kind of changes the play selection a little bit. And this will be Shaw. They'll give him maybe a yard in progress. Wrapped up that time by number 98. That's Otis Robinson, the linebacker. Another one of those juniors that's coming back.
Chiefs should have a hellacious defense next year. they're looking pretty tough tonight.
They've got 4 juniors on their 5-man front line. Their 2 linebackers are juniors. Coach Frazier is looking good in terms of defense for next year. 3rd down and 7. Montgomery, boy, he's going to be met right at the line of scrimmage by the nose tackle, Cedric Bumbry.
Cedric Bumbry just stood up the center, Paul McCarthy, and threw him down and just made the tackle, wrapped those big arms around it. Gets a helping hand from his brother to get his helmet.
Watch this center battle.
Not much of a battle. You see a couple Falcons down on the ground. They were completely beaten on that play. Of course, Carroll City, they won a state title in 1977, and one of the players on that team was Lester Williams, now with the New England Patriots. Go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say some of the coaches from Carroll City still with the program. The athletic director, Jeff Paris, remembering 10 years ago, and they feel that they're a team of destiny, but destiny slapping them in the face thus far here in this game.
Falcons are going to go for it on 4th and 6 from the Chief 35. Perdurkle's going to show pass. He was pressured. This one, well, could have been intercepted, but the pass just didn't quite get there.
It's better off for Carroll City that the ball goes incomplete than Spear trying for the interception.
That could have maybe cost him about 15 yards there, possibly.
Like Muzan had some couple steps there, but
I see why they don't let Perdurkle throw too much. Kind of a wounded duck out there.
Well, it's safer to give it to the fullback.
He was under a lot of pressure that time, and so the defense of the Chief bends, but they don't break. And now they'll take over their first possession of the second half from their own 34-yard line. McKinney in at quarterback, number 16. This will be Rod Pollock, number 44, the fullback. I don't think we saw him carry the football in the first half.
He had 1 carry for 0 yards, and Carroll City in the first half had 5 kids carry the football, including the 2 quarterbacks. The Carroll City philosophy is not to have a star in the backfield. I'll give you an example. Quentin Bostic had a 114-yard game against one of the teams in Miami. The next week had 2 carries for 4 yards.
That's got to be kind of difficult if you're a ball carrier to wonder, what am I doing next week? Low, pitching it back to Bostic. Bostic stacked up right there by Brian Montgomery.
Montgomery did a great job of containing the play by moving up, and Bostic tried to bull his way past him, but by then, the gang tackling of the Dunedin defense was there, and 3 more guys were there to help Montgomery.
Bostic has 37 yards in our program on Montgomery, but Montgomery hits him where you have to, hits him low and takes him down. Fine tackle.
Loss of 2 by Bostic.
Nice hit that time by the little guy, Montgomery, at about 165 pounds, taking on the 200-pounder, Bostic. 3rd down and 10. Another long situation here. Kenny, the quarterback, and he's going to keep it himself, but he's going to get brought down after maybe a yard or 2, so it's going to be a 4th and 8, 4th and 9 situation, and they're going to have to punt the football away.
Starting to be the same way as it turned out in the first half. 3 and out for the Carroll City Chiefs.
And Rick, I want to talk to you about the rotating quarterbacks. Oftentimes, I remember Notre Dame recently, a few years ago, tried that system. Usually you read where it doesn't work, yet obviously successful at Carroll City. Sometimes that can really tear a team apart when you've got 2 guys who feel they should be the #1 quarterback. Why has it been successful for them?
Because of the philosophy of the team and the players. Both players would love to play, but they realize that they are role players in this program, and they have accepted their role and done an excellent job.
Flags on the play here.
The concept in Carroll City is the same concept that the University of Miami had a couple of years ago. Big team, little me.
Well, that's our 3rd penalty of the game. They've all been procedures, and that's the 2nd time that the Chiefs are going to get called. So that'll make it a 4th down and 13 situation. Just back them up 5 yards. Anthony Wesselhoff will be doing the kicking here for the Chiefs. Montgomery and Maxwell back deep for the Falcons. Wesselhoff gets off pretty good kick. It'll bounce on the 37 and bounce back again.
That's the 2nd time tonight the punt has acted like a reverse spin on a 9-iron shot and gone backwards.
Well, the Falcons will tell you that you should do that on their own home turf. The home turf magic. As I mentioned, in the 2 years that Ken Weir's been here, it's been the home turf that has seen him experience his 3 losses, not the road.
Other than Jimmy Johnson at the University of Miami, I don't know too many coaches that are undefeated on the road in their career.
That does say a lot about his 2-year stint here at Dunedin. They'll start from their own 37, the Falcons will. This is Montgomery, gives a little stutter step, trying to go around that left side. He didn't go anywhere.
In fact, the last time the Falcons lost on the road was the last game of the 1985 regular season. That was Joe Register's last year before he moved on. He's had that game on Vision Cable, 24-21, and missed a last-second field goal that could have tied the game.
Cedric Embry, the nose tackle again. He's been all over that line.
I like the subtle difference in this wishbone that Dunedin runs as opposed to the one that Carroll City runs, where all the backs are down. The two tailbacks are up in this formation, and it gives them a little extra charge off that mark.
Moves on, will struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a half-a-yard pickup on 2nd down and 8. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and long situation. You know, a lot of people have forgotten that Joe Register did get that team going from a very dismal record the year before. His last year, they went 6-4, and then he left, and Coach Ken Weir came in here and took them from there on to the state championship. And I know Coach Ken Weir will tell you that he left me in some good shape. They're trying to rebuild some strength and some size, and Coach Joe Register deserves some of the credit to getting it started. 3rd down and 7. Federico faked it to Muzan, back to Montgomery. This is not going to go anywhere. That's going to be thrown for a loss, and again, I believe that was Scott, Ed Scott, number 5, who was right in there to make the tackle.
Ed Scott read the play from the beginning. His job on that play was read the quarterback and see what he does. He saw pitch, left the man. Now watch him read Federgle and then go for the man with the ball as he realized as soon as it was pitch, it was going to Montgomery.
Montgomery lucky to hold on to this. And Falcons have to punt it away.
Rory Marsh getting the punt off. Fair catch called for at the 37-yard line that time by number 23, Tom Hepburn. And so the defense from the Chiefs holds, and now they'll get the football back again. I believe that's the first time the Falcons have actually ended up in negative yardage on a possession. That was like 4th and 13 that time.
That was the first time in the game that Carroll City read the option play on that particular play, and that time again it was a strong safety coming up to make it.
3rd quarter is rapidly going away from us. Only 1 minute, 39 seconds to play. 3rd quarter, Falcons lead it 7-0. McKinney keeps it himself, just hangs on to the football like a loaf of bread and dives over the line. Going to be very, very close to 1st down, a pickup of about 9. McKinney really has been getting the job done for him offensively in terms of running the attack.
He now has 45 yards on 7 carries. And it's all been on design plays. A lot of the yardage that McKinney will get will come off the scramble, too. But these are design quarterback draws, if you will. 1 step back and into the line.
2nd and 1. Low will pitch it back.
It's Al Henson.
Henson picks up the 1st down and more. He only needed a yard. Gets down across the 45 to about the 43.
This is a trait that Carroll City does. Usually one guy you haven't seen in the first half will come in the second half. Last week it was Daryl Denson with 50 second half yards. Looks like this week it's going to be Al Henson.
The defense doesn't really know what to expect. Of course, they haven't seen him in that first half.
And there was 11 yards and a 1st down from Henson.
Under a minute to play, 3rd quarter. Chiefs are driving here. Football on the Falcon 43. McKinney in a quarterback, keeps it himself, this time maybe a yard, and the defense smells that one out. Dwight Keenan again, the nose tackle right there to snuff the play out.
Also, Richard Lang with a good play, fighting off a guy with a 100-pound advantage on him, Edoris Cromartie. Lang fought it off and got in on the tackle as well.
Lang considered an excellent prospect for major college football.
Lang at 6'2", 215, considered good size, but he's fighting off, as you mentioned, Edoris Cromartie, 6'2", 312. What a battle. On 2nd and 9, Lowe will pass it across the middle, and the pass skips up there. Intended that time for number 86. That was Tracy Milton. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 situation. Isaac, Pollock, Bostic, Hill, Henson, McLeod, Denson, and Moody. Those are the guys that can carry the football in the backfield.
We may see one more play before the end of the quarter here. We only have 6 seconds left. Milton, one of 2 guys on Carroll City that have caught touchdown passes this year. Barnwell has 2, and he has the other.
3rd down and 9. Should be the final play as Lowe will give it around. This is Barnwell, I believe.
Yes.
Gets away from someone in the backfield. Still can't get back up the line of scrimmage. It's Aaron Payton and Keenan. Actually, Keenan came up there to make the tackle. They lose yardage, so once again, it's going to be 4th and more than 10. We've seen that several times tonight for the Chiefs. 4th and 15.
That should do it for the quarter, too.
Joe Casto forcing that inside. Gave time for the rest of the Falcons to swarm in.
We have 12 minutes of football remaining. It has been an exciting football game so far. The Falcons lead it 7-0.
You don't have anything if you don't have your health. Every week on Vision Cable Channel 9, various medical experts present informative and insightful lectures on timely healthcare topics affecting our lives. Watch for the Humana Health series for the latest in medical treatments and technology. Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday evenings at 6 on Vision Cable Channel 9.
Minutes. The 4th quarter is all that remains. It is 7-0 in favor of the Falcons. And right now, the first play of the 4th quarter should be the Chiefs punting back to the Falcons. They have a 4th down and about 13 situation. The football on the Falcon 45-yard line. You can see the kicker there, Wesselhoff, counting out his players, making sure they have enough. Saw the New York Jets a couple nights ago on national TV against Miami. Had 13 players on the field.
Yeah, it's not bad enough that they got caught with 1 extra guy.
2 extra guys. Montgomery will just watch this one. This time they get a good roll, but then it kind of stops. It's going to be down inside the 15 near the 11-yard line. So not exactly ideal field position for the Falcons. And if you're the Dunedin Falcons, you know what you like to do here. Just march the football down the field 90 yards and chew up a lot of clock. Score at least a field goal, which would force the Chiefs then to have to score twice, something they haven't even done once yet tonight.
And the thing about it is that Dunedin's defenses look so good. Carroll City has not even threatened.
They've had a couple of big plays, and that's been about it.
They have not been into Dunedin territory tonight.
Walt Frazier hoping, of course, that size would help wear down these smaller Falcons, but those 3 downs and out, that just keeps your defense fresh. We'll see it in evidence here in this 4th quarter.
I beg your pardon, they've been into Dunedin territory 1 time.
Federico bobbles it, and then he's going to get swallowed up again by Bembry. Yeah, the line of scrimmage on that previous play right there was the Dunedin 45, so they made it in at least that possession. This is not an area of the field where you want to be bobbling the football.
Some anxious moments for these Dunedin fans, but Miracle gets the handle, but takes the loss.
Number 10, Melvin moves on. You can see they're running into the huddle.
I'm sure that Coach Ken Weir in that receiving hairline may have lost 1 or 2 extra hairs just now as Pedrogo bobbled that ball back there.
You fumble the ball away on your own 10-yard line. Great opportunity to get right back in here. Pedrogo will give it to Muzan. And the football's loose. I believe Carroll City did not get it back.
No, one of the Dunedin players was right there to fall on top of it.
Boykin. Elgin Boykin.
Big fumble recovery. Elgin Boykin, number 64, senior, 225-pounder. Played at Clearwater last year. Good heads-up play.
Look for sure that the Chiefs are going to get this back.
That was Ed Scott again that put his shoulder right on the football to knock it loose. Muzan had a fumble last year on what was a opening drive. He fumbled it away on the Kroger 6-yard line. This time they get it back. This is Montgomery. Montgomery swallowed up that time by Marcus Harris, number 74. It'll bring up a 4th down situation, so the Falcons are going to need a good kick here from Rory Marsh. The Chiefs should get the football back in good field position. 9:48 to play in the football game. Tom Hepburn standing at about midfield. Chiefs know they're going to get their football back in good field position. Marsh gets off a good kick.
Oh, what a beauty.
Hepburn takes it at his own 47, puts on one step, and he'll get a yard. Nice tackle that time from number 55. That was Joe McLemore. McLemore down there to make the play. So they don't start in Dunedin territory, but this is certainly the best starting field position for the Chiefs. They're on 48, 49-yard line.
The yardage on that punt was not so good. It was only 32 yards, but it was the hang time that counted. It allowed that coverage to get down, and only a 1-yard return for Hepburn. McKinney is your quarterback of the play.
And he'll keep it himself. Get across midfield to the 48-yard line. Pick up of 3 on first down. Brought down that time by 99 Richard Lang. It was last week on these quarterback options that the touchdown was scored against Dunedin, and of course on that final drive when the Cobras moved down the field, Tomlin with that 30-yard pickup and finally a 35-yard pickup. He was headed toward the end zone again, but Montgomery knocked him out of bounds. Now the officials are going to call a timeout.
Something tells me Carroll City's due for a pass right here.
8 minutes, 43 seconds to play. Cheerleaders trying to get this crowd, pretty much a capacity crowd, fired up. Defense has been doing the job so far for the Falcons. 2nd and 7. McKinney will pitch it back to Henson. Henson on the end around will get down to about the 41-yard line. He very well could have the first down.
What are you getting deep for?
Al Henson, as you mentioned, could be the man who's going to see the football a lot in the second half, as he did pick up the first down.
See a nice block here by Bostic on Montgomery. Creates the opening and a good pickup.
It's only the 4th first down in the game for Carroll City.
Football on the Falcon 41-yard line. 8:15 and counting. McKinney in at quarterback. And he'll give it to the up man. I believe that was Pollock, Rod Pollock, number 44. Battle his way up across the, well, almost up to the 35-yard line. A pickup of 5 yards on first down. I like to refer to that big offensive line of the Chiefs as the wipeout boys. But so far, they haven't done a lot of wiping out. They are a big group of people out there on that front line. 2nd down and 5. And Lowe will pass it.
Wide open.
Wide open. Wesselhoff still on his feet, will get knocked out of bounds. Let's see. They're going to say he stepped out around the 8-yard line. Big pickup that time.
34 yards and a first down. And this is the same combination that sparked him in the game against South Miami last week. Wesselhoff catching a big one in the same area of the football field as well.
He was wide open. There wasn't anyone anywhere near him.
Someone obviously blew their assignment. No way should that receiver be that wide open.
It's 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Falcons defense now really put to the test. Plenty of time remaining, 7:25. McKinney now will pass. Out from behind. Is the football loose? Falcons have it.
Dwight Keenan on the recovery.
Dwight Keenan at 5'8", 190 pounds. Plays like he's a lot bigger than that.
That was Scott Thomas. Coming through and just nailing quarterback.
McKinney never saw what happened. Good, clean, hard hit, too.
From our angle, we could just see Thomas coming right at him from the blind side. He leveled him. Another turnover. This one, a big one.
Cost him perhaps a touchdown that would have tied the game.
Now for Durkle. You know, they'll just keep it on the ground. But Durkle keeping it himself. Brought down by Jeremy Faulkner. Let's take a look at this kid again.
He never sees it. And the arm was not going forward, so that was a fumble and not an attempt at a pass.
Good call by our officials,
who are from the Lakeland area, the Lake Region Football Association.
Lakeland, a very familiar name for 5A football fans last year, the Lakeland Dreadnoughts, state champions. Played that game right here against Dunedin, 14-10 winners. 6 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting. Falcons on a 2nd and 9 situation. They'll just keep it on the ground again. The Falcons could use a first down here to try to, for one thing, chew up more clock and then try to maybe get some better field position, because if they have to punt it again from here, the Chiefs should have the football back
in decent field position.
Absolutely, near midfield at least.
And I think again we're going to see the passing come into play here with Lowe and McKinney trying to throw the football. Time against Carroll City. They can't afford any of those long drives, not with 5:42 and counting.
3rd down, and they're calling it 6. And Montgomery will pick up a few, but not even nearly enough. He maybe picks up 3. It'll be 4th down and 3. And the Falcons will have to punt the football away. Well, that sign is on the Miami sign that says next stop state.
Not the way they're playing at the moment.
That sign is appropriate for one of these two teams. But they have to get on the scoreboard, the Chiefs do. Marsh with another good kick. Hepburn with a fair catch, takes it at the 42-yard line. Well, Marsh, who has been kicking as well, has kicked 2 in a row that have been pretty good.
Another real fine punt by Marsh.
5 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in this football game. The Chiefs will start from their own 43-yard line. They are down 7-0.
Might see the Chiefs come out here practicing first down passing. They've had success through the air.
McKinney is your quarterback.
And McKinney will just keep it on the ground. I believe Pollock again with the carry. They'll give him a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8. Of course, we're getting to that point in the ball game where if they score a touchdown, a single-point conversion could tie it, and then we may have to go into an overtime. But there's always the possibility, you have seen these Chiefs, that the 2-point conversion is almost second nature to them.
Right, they have only kicked 5 single-point after touchdowns this year. They have made 8 two-point plays, and they run off one of the more bizarre extra-point formations you will see.
Falcons are hoping they don't see that tonight. This is low, way overthrown. Anthony Wesselhoff was the intended receiver.
Lowe was throwing to the spot and not to the man.
You know, if we could see the previous play over again, it appeared as if Tom Donahoe had a face mask on Pollock, which was not called. And that would have been a major penalty here.
Clock stops at the incomplete pass at 4:21. And it's 3rd down and 8. Anxious moments there on the sideline here. This is a very big play.
As will the next one, because you can be sure Carroll City would go for it on 4th down.
Essentially 2 plays to pick up the 8 yards. McKinney dropping back to pass. It's Henson out of the backfield. Henson, I believe, hits the first down up to the 45-yard line of Dunedin. So a pickup of 11, I believe, and that keeps the drive alive. A big pass to Henson out of the backfield.
Good-looking play. Henson underneath found a lot of open room. Donahoe can't catch up before Henson has the first down.
Clock ticking, approaching the 4-minute mark. Chiefs with the football just across the Falcon 45. Going into the air has been what's been giving him the most yardage here so far. McKinney takes it. He's stacked up. He gains a couple. Of course, with every running play, allows the clock to continue ticking.
McKinney 11 for 44 yards on the ground, by far the leading ball carrier for Carroll City tonight. And when he is the leading ball carrier, it means that the other 3 running backs in the offensive line are not doing their job, which means the Dunedin defense has been superb tonight.
McKinney picked up 4 that time. It's 2nd and 6. Under 320. Low now will pitch it back to Bostic. Bostic stringing it out. Driven out of bounds. That'll stop the clock at 3:14 to play. He also picked up the first down. Inside the 35, down near the 33-yard line. Clock stops as he goes out of bounds, I believe. Well, I guess he didn't get out of bounds. They just stopped the clock, of course, to move the yard markers. Bradenton Manatee playing at Pensacola Pine Forest tonight. That would be the other half of the matchup of the state championship. It'll either be Dunedin or Carroll City. 2:56 to play. McKinney straight ahead as Drew Taylor makes the tackle. As Pollock picks up good yardage there on first down. It is getting that point in the ball game where if the Chiefs don't score the touchdown here, they may not have another opportunity as good as this. So they have to take advantage. Anxious moments on both sidelines. Under 2.5 minutes to play, regulation. Low, back to Bostic. Bostic. Now, I think he stays in bounds.
No, he got out.
He got out of bounds.
Not much yardage, but he got out of bounds.
Certainly one of keeping the runners in bounds. Kind of a quiet moment for the fans. The fans just kind of sitting here on their hands at this point. You could see Montgomery was blocked well out of the play.
In fact, Hinson had to be careful not having a clip on Brian Montgomery.
Looks like there's a problem with perhaps maybe Donahoe or somebody else's thigh pad over there. And helmet also. They're working on Donahoe's helmet. Perhaps that insert inside the helmet has come loose.
Donahoe, number 51, they're working on his helmet, as you mentioned. I'm sure the Chiefs are saying, listen, if he can't play, get someone else in there. But 3rd down and 5. So again, they'll have 2 plays to pick up the 5 yards. McKinney, the quarterback. He is passing. And is almost intercepted.
If he holds on to it, it's 6 the other way.
And if he can't get into the end zone, at least they have the football back.
Right.
And Thomas right there wishing his teammate hadn't tipped the ball. Because he may have had a chance at an interception.
Actually, 2 guys could have made the interception there. They were right in line with the pass.
Well, the season now has come down to 1 play for Carroll City. It's more than likely going to be a pass, and Norman Lowe will be the guy they'll throw it to. My guess is he's going to look first for Anthony Wesselhoff and then to perhaps Harold Barnwell, the 2 most consistent receivers that he has. And he has seemed to develop a rapport with Wesselhoff of late, too, so maybe we'll look for him.
Dunedin called the timeout. As you mentioned, this is a very big play, so they want to make sure defensively they're ready on 4th and 5. The football on their own 25-yard line. 2:15 to play.
Of course, we've seen a couple of nice passes to the backs. Last time Hinson was out there open in the flat, and he picked up a first down.
If you're curious, if Miami wins the ball game, they play at home regardless of whether it's Bradenton Manatee or Pensacola Pine Forest. If Dunedin advances, they will play Pine Forest here. They would have to travel to Bradenton. But that is not on their minds at this point.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm sure they're worried about the last 135 seconds on the clock.
Absolutely. 4th down and 5. Lowe will be the quarterback, number 12, Norman Lowe. In motion is Bostic. Lowe dropping back. Rolling out for some protection. Over the head.
He went for Wesselhoff. Wesselhoff was open, and under the strain of the rush, he panicked a little bit, threw it too high and outside. Pass incomplete. And unless something unbelievable happens, looks like Dunedin's going to the state championship game for the 2nd year in a row.
Watch the southpaw quarterback rolling out to the opposite side, though. That may have had something else to do with it here. He's a lefty, rolling right. That makes it tougher to throw, I think.
Right, he has to throw off balance. His shoulders are not square. And Wesselhoff, you can see, is open because Boykins is allowing him the room on the coverage, but the pass goes far and away.
Falcons did a good job, both their defensive ends, putting pressure.
Montgomery will bounce off bodies, and at this point, you know that the Chiefs are going to be going for the football. That's the only thing they have to do.
And also they will use their 3 timeouts here now, too. Now they're down to 1 timeout.
2:03 to play. First down from Dunedin can certainly increase their chances.
Montgomery, statistics-wise, certainly not one of his better games. 17 carries for 53 yards, but he's certainly holding on to the football at the right time.
And I can almost bet you this is the time where we're going to see Shaw or Montgomery, because those two have been consistently able to hang on to the football. Especially Shaw, when he just wrapped his arms around it. They gave Montgomery a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. More importantly is the clock situation. Ken Ware out there to have a word with his offense. I'm sure, again, he stressed the fact that they need to hang on to the football. That's the sign from last year. And there was something on that sign that the Falcons don't like. State runners up. They would like to try to change that.
Right, they want to put that big black word champions where runner-up was. And at this point, they're 203 away. And things looking in that man's favor against Ken Weir.
2nd down and 8. Again, Montgomery slicing around that left right side of the line. He picked up maybe 3 yards. Again, timeout called by the Chiefs. 8 seconds ticked off, down to 1:55. It'll be a 3rd down, I believe, in about 5 situation.
It'll be interesting now when they force Dunedin to punt. In all likelihood, they're going to go after the punt or set up the return. On a couple of occasions, they have come close to blocking Roy Marsh's punt.
I guess you can say right now, Dwight Keenan is definitely hot.
He's a steaming man. True sense of the word. Here's a man who's steaming.
Dwight's a nice guy. I had a chance to just come out here the other day, was just talking with the players and doing some tapings, and he's a good group of guys. And same as you said, on the other side of the field. And unfortunately, in this game, only one team is going to advance. 1:55. This one is not over, though. We have a 3rd down and 5 situation. Falcons need to pick up this 1st down if they want to run the clock out. If not, they'll have to put the football away. Perdurkle, in all likelihood, will give it to Montgomery. This is Montgomery. Montgomery battling his way up very close to the 1st down, but I don't think he got there. Coach Walt Frazier, maybe.
Come on,
let's see where they spot it. Breathing a sigh of relief if he doesn't get it.
Looks like he's a little shy. I would think they'd want to measure this just to be certain, but it does not appear from our angle that he's made it.
Clock at 1:49. Well, let's see what happens here.
4th down. Maybe about 6 chain links shy of the 1st down.
Montgomery had an opening for a brief second.
Boy, here's a gutsy call. They're going for it.
Well, let's see if they actually do, or they're just going to go out there and
waste the time.
Waste some time and see if they can maybe get an offsides.
Tried that last week against Boyd Anderson without success. We have to know that Carroll City has been told about this.
Carroll City using their last timeout, so if they do get the football back, and I'm sure they will now.
You know, they let 11 seconds tick off the clock. The clock started at 1:49, got down to 1:38. Maybe they were a little confused by seeing the Falcons out there looking like they were going to go for it. They didn't call the timeout immediately. Those 11 seconds could be big later on.
This is going to be an interesting call for Coach Ken Weir. 4th and 1 with the game on the line. Of course, you're going to give it to one of your better backs like Montgomery, and it's going to be up to the defense to stop him. They haven't stopped him except for one time for a negative gain all night.
And again, you've got to figure the man who's going to get the football, would it be, as I mentioned, Montgomery or Shaw, because you can't afford a fumble down here either. Last week, though, we saw Muzan, even though he had a one of his less productive games, pick up some very big first downs on some great second efforts. 138. Coach Frazier out there talking to his defense with a lot of animation, really trying to pump them up.
I'm sure he has told them that, hey, the season is on the line right here. Let's see what happens. Gutsy call by Coach Ken Weir at Dunedin.
6 inches could be a big turnaround here, either way. And of course, this is what we saw last week. Seeing if they could draw someone off sides, they'll call a timeout so they don't get a delay of game penalty.
It was a nice try.
I'm sure that was one of the things that maybe Coach Frazier was so animated about, was he's telling them, better not be offsides. Better not be offsides, because that gives them the game.
Especially, you knew they would be charged up if they were going to go for it on 4th down. And of course, that's what the quarterback wants to have happen, the over-anxious lineman crossing the neutral zone.
Carroll City will come with 9.
Hepburn will be at the deep end. He also has someone on midfield who's now moving up a little closer. Rory Marsh needs to get off a good kick here. Good snap. He gets it off.
Spear almost blocked it for Carroll City.
And a good kick. And his football is loose. Still on the ground. Dunedin's going to get it. Not yet. Nobody near it but Dunedin. Nope, you can't advance it. There will be no touchdown, but the Falcons will have the football, as there was nobody near that ball. As you mentioned, Rick, they were sending everybody save 2. All red shirts down there. Someone finally picked it up. I believe number 50. That would be Scott Thomas. You can't advance it for a touchdown now.
See the uncertainty, the punt returner looking at the coverage instead of looking at the ball. That's the ball game.
No timeouts remaining for Carroll City. Clock at 1:20 and counting. Dunedin should not lose this football game. They're not going to have to worry about maybe big turnovers. They'll just let the clock run down as much as they can. Should follow on the football because Carroll City can't stop it.
That's the correct statement to make. They'll probably take a delay of game penalty here to shut the clock down. Then they'll run the one play, stop the clock, and that'll be the end of it.
But Urkel just now getting in there. While we have a chance, let's certainly delay a game. Let's give some credit where credit is due, and you can talk about Carroll City as good as anyone up here. They've had a magnificent season, and it's come down to a very close, hard-fought game here, and tonight it just didn't click for them.
Well, the one thing that we talked about in our pregame that Carroll City should not do, they exactly did. They turned the ball over 4 times. They put the ball on the ground 5 times. They lost it 4 times. 2 in very crucial situations. 1 close to the goal line. 1 on a punt return. It cost them dearly. Quite frankly, it cost them the football game.
You're not going to be able to win football games in these kind of defensive struggles when you can't keep the football. But Urkel, again, will just fall down on it. Clock at 52. They get a fresh batch of seconds on the clock, and again, they'll just...
They should probably, depending on when they blow the whistle, they may have to fall on it one more time. Well, now they're definitely going to have to fall on it one more time as they stop the clock at 38 seconds.
They're going to work on Leon Harris's helmet this time, but they should start it again there. They will.
What a big win this will be for the Dunedin Falcons to come back, got handed that defense, opportunistic offense, and
what a 2 years it's been for that man.
That's right.
First year, goes into the state championship game, and he's back in it in his 2nd year.
And regardless of who he has to play, the furthest he'll have to drive will be to Bradenton Manatee. And they have a district game, Sarasota, that's even further away. Down to 10 seconds, they cannot stop it. That's the ball game. The big play right here that helped seal it. Any chance that Carroll City was going to get back in the game, it was gone right here.
And nobody wanted the football like a hot potato, and finally Scott Thomas does pick it up, and as we mentioned, can't advance that pump of a fumble, and that certainly ended it all. Dunedin, 165 yards in total offense, all on the ground. And you have to give Ken Weir and the entire staff at Dunedin credit. They came into this game prepared, and they decided that they weren't going to worry about having that disadvantage in the weight on the offense and defense. They used their quickness very effectively, and he and the staff would be well commended for this victory.
They talked about that all last year. They've been talking about it this year, that size sometimes can be overrated. They feel that maybe quickness is just as important, and it's going to be very difficult to argue with them when they continue for the second consecutive year to work their way into the state championship.
Well, some happy celebrants down there, and well, they should be. And I'm sure we'll see the disappointment on Carroll City as they walk with the helmets in hand out of there.
Undefeated coming into this game, Carroll City experiences their first loss, 7-0 to the Dunedin Falcons. A rematch of last year's semifinal battle. That one won 17-6 by the Falcons. This one more of a defensive struggle, 7-0, but once again, the outcome the same. And both coaches are friends. They got to know each other at a clinic in Orlando, and they have similar types of philosophies in the way they feel you should operate a football team. And I'm sure with all these juniors coming back offensively and defensively for Carroll City, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with again next year.
Well, that's the thing. It was a young team last year. It's a young team this year, and I'm sure they will gain the experience of losing this type of a heartbreaking game. For the seniors, you have to feel sorry for them because it's 2 years in a row. Guys like Stacy McKinney and Willie Johnson, who played in his 29th straight game, a starter for Carroll City this year. Harold Barnwell, Eudorus Cromartie, those guys that went through the agony of what happened to them last year, only to see deja vu again this year.
It was a 12-game winning streak that was snapped by the Falcons. Interestingly enough, it was the Falcons that gave them the first loss before the winning streak started. So. Bookends on a 12-game winning streak. Right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and try to have a few words, if we can, with some of the members of the victorious Dunedin Falcons, who are once again, for the second consecutive year, heading for the state championship. It is pandemonium here at Dunedin High School. We'll be back.
You don't have anything if you don't have your health. Every week on Vision Cable Channel 9, various medical experts present informative and insightful lectures on timely healthcare topics affecting our lives. Watch for the Humana Health series for the latest in medical treatments and technology. Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday evenings at 6 on Vision Cable Channel 9.
Once again,
you see that little forming crowd there, and the team getting their high five. Something happened, but while we were in commercial break, that just typifies this couple of days that we've had here in Dunedin. The City team walking back to their locker room, helmets down low, and we are sitting on the Dunedin side, the press box side. These fans en masse stood up and gave Carroll City a standing ovation for the game they played here tonight. What a tremendous show of sportsmanship.
You certainly have to be happy about that, as I'm from this area, and a good showing of support on both sides. They appreciate good quality football, and the Falcons are certainly very excited and enthusiastic about their squad. If we can, we're going to continue to try to see if we can grab a word with maybe Coach Ken Weir or one of the stars of the game, and some defensive stars as well, and get their feelings on tonight's contest. I'm sure if they would have a preference, they would like to play at home again next week. That would mean they would like to see Pensacola Pine Forest win their football game against Manatee. But either way, they're going to the state championship. They don't care.
For you guys to go to Bradenton, that's almost a home game as well. For us to come up here, this is a road trip. You guys would be happy to play anywhere in the Bay Area.
That's not exactly what I said. That's what I said. They have a district game in Sarasota, which is about another 20 miles further. So that's not exactly a long trip this year. So either way, they played their first 3 games at home, and they have an opportunity, depending on the outcome of the other game, Manatee and Pensacola, to play all 4 of them at home, and that's a little unusual in itself. Well, I think we're going to be waiting here for a little while until we can continue to get a word with Coach Ken Weir. So once again, we'll take a short break. We'll come back and see if we can have a word with him. Final score, the Falcons 7, the Chiefs nothing. you want to stay informed on local sports, you need to watch Sports Scene every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Hi, I'm Mike Moore, the host of the show. We also have sports call-in questions, and we have celebrities on the show, and we certainly do our best at trying to recap the local high school and the area sports action. That's Sports Scene every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Won't you please join us? Once again, the Falcons victorious in this semifinal battle against Miami Carroll City. The Chiefs 7-0, and right now we will go down on the field as Mike Rhodes is currently with the head coach of the Dunedin Falcons, Ken Weir, and I believe a few other players.
Back here on the field, Ken Weir and Dwight Keene, a couple of happy Falcons here at Memorial Stadium. That great victory, 7-0 over Carroll City. Miami. Coach, we talked about last year, you guys surprised them. This year, you knew they were probably coming out for revenge. How did you handle it?
We just came out and we stuck them all night long, and that's why we won the football game. We played great defense all night.
What about this defense? Defense, it really shut them down completely.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. We gotta go. Thanks.
As you can see, a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of pandemonium, confusion. Coach Weir has already been doused by the Gatorade buckets. A lot of fun because the Falcons know for the second consecutive year they're going to the state championship. That's a feeling that this year the Chiefs were hoping they were going to get a chance to experience. Not this year, maybe next year.
Let's run down some final unofficial statistics for everybody. No yards passing for Dunedin, 165 yards total tonight. Leading rushers, Montgomery, 19 carries, 60 yards. Muzan, 10 carries, 50 yards. Terrence Shaw, 8 carries, 32 yards. And probably the surprise of the night, Mike Pedurgle, 9 carries for 15 yards. Pedurgle 0 for 1 passing as well. For the Carroll City Chiefs, 7 first downs, 75 yards passing. They got 2 for 3 from McKinney for 29 yards. Norman Lowe, 2 for 6 for 46 yards. Leading rusher in the game was Stacy McKinney, the quarterback. 11 carries, 44 yards. Of the 98 yards rushing that Carroll City had this year, and that is the second time this year that they have been held under 100 yards. 2 for 19, Bostic 5 for 18, Rod Pollock 5 for 14, and 4 different receivers caught the football for the Carroll City Chiefs. And again, the only score in the game, Carroll City, or Dunedin rather, coming with 48 seconds left in the first quarter. Tyrone Muzan, a 16-yard run. Rory Marsh on the extra point kick had capped a 6-play, 65-yard drive, and that was the only scoring play in the game. Carroll City did have a scoring threat late in the game in the fourth quarter, but they fumbled the ball after McKinney got blindsided on a pass attempt, and that was really the only time Carroll City threatened in the football game.
And again, as we mentioned, it was the turnovers, couple of turnovers in key critical situations. As you mentioned, there was McKinney back to pass. They lose it there. That was on a possible drive, and when they were going to get the football back for one last-ditched effort with about 1:45 to play, the fumble was muffed by the return man, and Dunedin got it back, and that, of course, allowed them to run the time off the clock. Point a camera at these people, and they know they're going to the state championship. They're going to be excited, as you might imagine. Once again, the final score, 7-0 in favor of the Dunedin Falcons over Carroll City, the Chiefs. Good, tough, again, as we mentioned, hard-fought battle, and you maybe want to say David and Goliath in terms of the size of the Carroll
certainly for size.
Chiefs and Dunedin Falcons, but this time history repeats itself in terms of the biblical sense. Goliath goes down the loser in this one again, but as you mentioned, these guys have played an outstanding season. I'm talking about Carroll City, and they have no reason to hold their heads down.
No, not really, but perhaps the straw that broke the camel's back was that fumble on the punt late in the football game, as one last-ditch effort by Carroll City, the deep man, perhaps taking his eye off the ball just long enough to lose sight of it and hit him in the hands, and Dunedin came up with a football deep in Carroll City territory. 4 downs later, you see the final. 7-0 Dunedin in their home park this time. Last year they went down to Miami-Dade Community College North Stadium, where Carroll City has their home field, and thoroughly dominated that game as well, and they did it up here at home tonight, certainly dominating both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Certainly want to say a welcome as our Gulfstream viewer fans here in the city of Dunedin, as they have to be excited about their Falcons with the victory. And of course, a big thanks to Rick Potluck from Channel 17 in Miami, WLRN, and appreciate you have some support people with you as well, and appreciate their efforts as well.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my associate director, Phil Catman, and my associate producer, Mia Lorenzo, for coming up and helping out on this telecast. And my sincere thanks to you, Mike, and your entire Vision Cable group for allowing us to be a part of your telecast as well.
It's been a lot of fun, and of course, we certainly have enjoyed it, and the Falcons are enjoying it as well. On behalf of Mike Rhodes and the entire crew here for Vision Cable Sports, I'm Mike Moore. The Falcons continue their season. One more week to go to the state championship. Bye-bye, everybody.
We're looking our best for